Welcome back, Victory Seekers. You're watching Onward with Onrie, and I'm your commanding host, Onrie Kompan. A couple weeks ago, I introduced you all to the Iron Skin philosophy. I promised you that we would return to this topic, and today we're going to explore the 5 principles of Iron Skin. When you're exhibiting at a comics convention or any other major event, you are essentially one of a few hundred other vendors. Once the show opens, there will be thousands of people flooding the floors, and it can get quite overwhelming, almost to the point where you might feel insignificant. Oftentimes, when we're in distress, people like to say, relax. Hell, I'm guilty of saying it myself. However, most of the time when people tell us to relax, the reverse happens. But in order to master the convention floor, you must learn to actually relax when you're putting yourself out there. I liken conventions to a large source of energy, fueled by everyone present on the show floor. Think of every person on the floor as a battery. Each battery is filled with either positive or negative energy. This will change throughout the day. There are no constants when it comes to conventions other than time and space. Some people may start the day charged with positive energy, which can instantly be converted to negative energy once their personal circumstances change, which has nothing and everything to do with you. When you are relaxed, you aren't taking control of the environment. You're taking control of yourself. Once you are calm and in control of yourself, you can find your center of confidence. Never react on impulse, especially when you're feeling under attack. Sometimes you run into assholes at conventions who are going to try and piss you off on purpose. Work past it and don't get discouraged. The best way to relax yourself is to remember that you are a vendor, and becoming a vendor requires a lot of work. You may not feel like it, but you have the power. You have the control. You are doing what everyone on that floor came to see. So when you feel overwhelmed, take a step back for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Give yourself that time. Once you're ready and feeling relaxed, get back out there and whoop some ass. Remember, the most harmful thing anyone can say to you is no. Be stronger than that. Fight for your yeses. It is so easy to lose sight of what you're trying to do at conventions. There's so much going on, and oftentimes you might actually forget what you're there to do. It is at these times that you need to take command of your situation and think about what it is that you want to achieve. Prior to exhibiting anywhere, think about what your main goal is. Is it to sell 1 copy of your comic or 1,000? Let this be your goal though, not someone else's goal for you. Because in order to concentrate and achieve your goals at any convention, it must be your own personal desire. If you allow for someone else to put their pressure on you, the result will leave you feeling needlessly disappointed. When things don't feel right, trust your instinct. Don't feel like you need to succumb to someone else's influence simply because they have more pull than you. Stand your ground and be your own person. That is where respect is earned. It takes more than one convention to make or break you. In my earlier years, people would often tell me who I should or shouldn't associate with, or try to push me to attend certain events that I felt were fruitless and that I honestly just didn't want to be at. Oftentimes, I would reluctantly attend these events and find myself feeling out of place because it's not where I wanted or needed to be at the time. Once I stopped listening to what people thought I should be doing and committed myself to what I needed to be doing, I started to feel much more confident in myself and started seeing better results for my business. I attend every convention with razor-sharp focus and concentration. I know what my goals are, and I will fight to the bitter end whether I achieve those goals or not. Remember what I said earlier about people being full of positive and negative energy? It is 100% true. While you're on the convention floor, you want to find that perfect center of balance. If you're too full of positive energy, you run the risk of becoming full of negative energy when some asshole decides to come by your booth and rip you apart. On the other hand, if you're too full of negative energy, you are indirectly warding people away from you through your body language and facial expressions, which could cost you sales. At that point, you're relying on people to find you which is dangerous because now you're depending on others to see you without you doing anything to get their attention. Redirection starts by reading people. Only pitch customers that are actually interested in what you have to say. Don't waste your time on people who can't be bothered to give you a moment of their time. They aren't your customers. You want to focus on people who might actually be willing to invest in your work. It doesn't mean that they are necessarily going to buy from you in that moment, but if you leave them with a good impression, you never know where that may go. Redirect. Don't be afraid to read the vibes people give off. The better you get at that, the more people will appreciate you. Who are you? Why are you exhibiting at a convention? What are the struggles you had to endure in order to get to this point? Is this where you want to be? If so, then focus on what you've come here to do and do it with pride. Remember Bruce Lee's famous line in Enter the Dragon when he was teaching that one student? You need emotional content. When you have passion for what you're doing, that's what people are essentially buying into. No matter how amazing an artist you are, people need to feel something in your demeanor on some level. If they don't, then look at your peers and see what they're doing that you aren't. As a vendor, you must always look for ways to reinforce your presentation at conventions. You must always be evolving. There is a saying that you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. If you're going to exhibit at a convention but have no plans or desire to interact with anybody, then you're in the wrong business. This field is all about being on your feet, shaking hands, and building personal connections with your fans. Focus less on taking people's money from them and focus more on sharing your work with them. One of the things that gets me so excited about doing conventions is that I know I'm offering people a great deal for a great comic. But I love giving people the pitch. I love turning them on to Yisun Shin for the first time because no matter what happens, they'll remember me and they'll remember the book. They may talk about it in passing with someone else they know who might seek it out later and buy it. But I can guarantee you that if I just sat on my fat ass doing fuck all at these conventions, that no one would know the difference. It only matters if you make it matter. And to me, it has always mattered and still does. I get just as much joy from pitching today as I did when I first started out in this field. I love conventions. I love engaging with people, but it wasn't always like this. I feel the way I do because I believe in the work I'm doing. That's what gives me the strength to stand and pitch. If I didn't, believe me, I wouldn't bother wasting my time with any of this. If you don't believe in your work or in yourself, consider working through that before going to a convention. You have to feel it within. You have to feel so great about your work that you don't care about the money at all. And that is a hard place to get, but it's not impossible. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. Remember these principles and reference this episode as often as you need to. Next week, I'll be kicking off a new arc called Battle March. The 2019 convention season is here, and I'm taking you on the front lines with me as I attend 3 major conventions consecutively with the intent to sell out at every show. Things are about to get wild. See you next week, and until then, onward to victory!